Remember, it's your responsibility to certify for benefits every 2 weeks, be able and available to work, and actively seek employment for each week you wish to request benefit payments. Note: if you are unemployed due to COVID-19, you are not required to seek work at this time. It's also your responsibility to follow all rules related to receiving UI benefits. Be sure to read and respond to all requests to avoid payment delays, penalties, or disqualifications. We hope you found this video helpful and invite you to learn more about UI online at www.edd.ca.gov/UI_online.
I don't know why it's not moving this slide. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it over to Valerie, who's going to talk about filing, some more kind of details about filing the claim.
Great, thanks, Jess. I know that we've talked a lot and given you a lot of information that may be a little bit vague or confusing, but let's go through some of the actual questions that you will have so that you can fill out your claim properly. And like I said, we're going to have a Q&A at the end as well. As an adjunct faculty member, you would mark in the section where it's a separation category, you would mark laid off or no work. Again, since you all are on this, your contracts run on a semester to semester basis. So once you are done with a semester, that is it, regardless of what is in a collective bargaining agreement around seniority or rehire rights. And that covers all adjunct faculty anywhere. So the CSUs, the UCs, community colleges, and private higher ed institutions in California. So once you select laid off or no work, then another menu will pop up in separation explanation. These are the kind of 4 choices that make the most sense for adjunct faculty, but we really recommend if like your position wasn't eliminated or there wasn't a legitimate reduction in workforce, that you just say assignment completed. Because once again, you're really only contracted for that semester. So once that semester is over, your assignment has been completed. Next, you'll also be asked to provide information about which industry or business type you're a part of. For community college faculty, folks that teach at the UCs and the CSUs, you should select the industry type of city, county, school district, and special district. For folks that work in private universities or colleges, you should select industry type private employer. I just want to make sure that you all see that distinction of, right, like if you're in the public sector, you're going to hit city, county, school district, and special district. If you're in the private sector, you're going to hit private employer. I just want to make sure, so because also folks tend to have multiple employers, right? Especially when it comes to unemployment for part-time faculty. So just to make sure when you're entering for a specific employer, you're entering the right information about which sector they're in. So under business category, you should select services, because that seems to make sense to no one, right? But that's the one that you select. And that's the same for whether you're in public or private education institutions. It would be under services. And finally, under business type, this is the one that makes sense. You select education. Again, that's also the same for public and private education institutions. So there are also some confusing questions related to union membership. So I always tell folks, think of like the EDD application as it's trying to figure out what kind of work you do in the state of California. We're so fortunate to have many different industries, many different types of workers, and we have thriving unions. So that's also really important. But the union questions are mainly to try to figure out whether you are in the building trades or not, because the building trades tend to have a different way to handle unemployment. So, when you're asked if you're a member of a union, you can say yes, and that's definitely an answer. And Keith and Inez will put the information about the union in the chat for you. So you'll need the name of the local, the number of the local, and then the phone number of the local as well. So does your union or trade association find work for you? We do not. Again, that is a trade union type of deal. That is not the type of trade, that's not the type of union that you all have. So does your union or trade association control your hiring? We do not. As much as we would love to hire everyone back every semester to fill these classes, that is not something that we have the capacity to do. So you would write no to that. And are you registered with your union or non-union association as out of work? You are not. We don't register folks. We don't track that information. So you would say no to that question as well. So in this last detail, oh, hold on a second, I lost myself here. There we go. In the actual application, you'll have to answer some of these questions if you, for some reason, hit school employee at any point. Because school employees are not eligible, most of them are not eligible for unemployment benefits. So typically you would get this if you are working in the K-12 world as adjunct faculty, again, like you all have that benefit and are able to apply. So if you're a part-time faculty member, you need to select no to questions 1A and 1B because you are not in a recess period and you have no reasonable assurance of being rehired on your next term. Because as many of you all know, that class or those classes that you've gotten can be canceled due to funding, enrollment, and program changes. So it's really important to say no to both of those questions. So after submitting, after you submitted your membership, you submitted it to the website, we will mail you a guide to the benefit, EDD will mail you a guide to your benefits and an official notice of unemployment award. So be sure to read all those materials carefully. EDD may also require for you to have an interview. So make sure that the contact information that you provide EDD is the most up-to-date contact information for you. So we'll review unemployment benefits. You will receive unemployment benefits automatically on a Bank of America prepaid debit card, and the EDD no longer issues paper checks. And you can also direct deposit that amount into your bank once you get the card. So just make sure to look out for your in your mail for the card. However, you're able to set up transfers once you have that card with you. So we've covered, again, a lot of information today, but we wanted to also give you some tips on employment benefits. So pay attention to deadlines and file all your forms in a timely manner. Any delay in your paperwork or online filing will delay your benefits, and all appeals have strict deadlines for the administrative judge to follow. So file your unemployment claim the last day of your last class of the semester, or the date that is listed on your appointment letter, whichever is the last one. So if you have any classes in the CSU system, from my understanding, it's the last day of the actual semester, not the last day of finals. And Keith and Inez will let us know if it's the last day here of finals or if it's the last day of the semester. We'll do that in the Q&A. Oh, go ahead, Keith.
It's tomorrow, yeah, the last day of finals.
Okay. If you're having issues with the UI online website, you can try to reload the page. You can also try clearing your cache or deleting your cookies. I don't know what those words mean, but I know other people do. So make sure to clear your cache and your browser cookies. And the last resort, you can file over the phone. Another faculty member from the Los Rios Federation also told us that he had success in faxing his application. If you can believe that, in 2021, faxing your application will get someone to take action within 24 hours, he told me.